here to tell you that candor truly is your key to outrageous success. If you are afraid to rock any boats, if you are afraid to create any waves, if you're afraid to offend anybody, then you are not using your full power. And I'm also here to tell you that some boats need to be rocked. My friend Ann found a boat that needed to be rocked. She rocked it, and she ended up with a great job. So I want to give you some of the reasons why we don't speak up. This is name the lame excuse, reasons why we play safe and why we don't use candor. The first one is just not knowing how. Well, learn how. We'll be talking about some simple tools and techniques for how here. Not knowing how is not an excuse. There are so many resources available for that. And here's the thing. If you don't know how to speak up, if you don't know how to be clear, kind, and direct, all three, if you don't know how to do that, there's a tendency to think you have two choices, either to say nothing or to hit them over the head. Now, if you recall, the way Anne spoke to the person she worked for, she was not being aggressive. She was not responding in kind. When you know how, you realize there are some simpler and easier choices. Second is fear. And it is true, sometimes there are some negative consequences of speaking up and speaking truthfully. Now, if you were in the healthcare profession, I would tell you to go online and pull up the report Silence Kills, because it documents how much more successful people in healthcare are when they do speak up and they do address issues. How much more satisfied they are, how much more successful they are. Even though you're not in healthcare, I still recommend you go online and do a search on Silence Kills just to see that in the cost-benefit analysis, there's a lot more benefit to speaking up than many of us realize. I have a cost-benefit analysis at the back of your workbook. It's your risky conversation assessment form. And it gives you questions to ask yourself, do I want to take a risk to speak up? Because my experience is that most people, when they do a cost-benefit analysis, they are wanting to avoid a short-term discomfort when there's a long-term gain. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that they tend to underrate the cost of speaking up, of not speaking up. The next one is self-doubt and confusion. This is a habit I have as a recovering passive. Let's see if any of you can relate to this. I can have a very strong conviction, and as soon as somebody says, oh, no, that's not true, I will immediately start questioning myself. Now, I have also developed a habit of not paying too much attention to that voice, but that is the habit that used to dominate. Now it's the one that I work with to speak up in the end. And how are you ever going to get clear anyway if you don't test your ideas? Next one is denial and avoidance. We're pretending it's not really happening. Oh, everything's fine. He only beats me on Sundays. After all, it's not so bad. It's really easy to pretend there's nothing going on. A habit is the next one. We're going to be looking at that in a little bit. And then this is the next one I want you to pay careful attention to. It's misplaced respect for authority. Now, notice, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't respect authority. I am suggesting that there is a limit, that you should not respect authority to the point of overriding your own wisdom and your own knowledge. Misplaced respect for authority.